What if I told you that the greatest war you'll ever fight isn't happening out in the world, it's unfolding silently inside your own mind? Most people never notice it. They wake up, check their phone, absorb a dozen tiny anxieties, and march into the day already defeated by things that don't even matter. A text message can ruin their confidence. A minor inconvenience can shatter their patience. A stranger online can corrupt their self-worth with a single comment. We live in a time where people are constantly reacting, rarely thinking, almost never choosing. And because we react so quickly, so emotionally, so automatically, we forget that we once had control. We forget that strength isn't something you find, it's something you train for. The Stoics understood this long before our modern world flooded our minds with noise. Marcus Aurelius warned us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't offering comfort, he was giving a weapon. Because once you understand that the battlefield is internal, you stop fighting shadows in the world, and you begin mastering the forces inside yourself. Today, we begin a journey into 8 Stoic principles, 8 mental technologies that can rebuild your inner world so deeply that nothing external can break you again. Not chaos, not failure, not judgment, not loss. This isn't a motivational talk, it's psychological armor. And we begin with the first and perhaps the most misunderstood principle. Stoic principle Hason, embrace discomfort. Modern culture treats comfort as the ultimate goal. Heated rooms, instant gratification, endless entertainment. You can avoid pain your entire life, and most people do. But what happens when you avoid all discomfort? Your character atrophies, your mental strength dissolves, your emotional tolerance collapses at the slightest pressure. We've become a society where a slow Wi-Fi signal feels like suffering, where silence feels threatening, where discipline feels impossible. The Stoics would look at us and see not luxury but psychological decay. Seneca wrote, "The man who anticipates the coming of troubles takes away their power." In other words, if you face discomfort voluntarily, life cannot break you involuntarily. Every challenge you step into, cold, silence, hunger, difficult conversations, early mornings, sharpens the mind. Discomfort is not the enemy, it is the furnace, it is the sculptor, it is the training ground for the self you claim you want to become. Because the truth is simple, growth does not happen in comfort. Growth happens when your mind says, stop, and you move anyway. So today, embrace one small discomfort, not to suffer, but to strengthen, not to punish yourself, but to prepare yourself. Stoic principle #2. Control your emotions before they control you. Most people believe they're thinking when, in reality, they're simply feeling and mistaking that for thought. One insult, and their entire mood collapses. One unexpected setback, and their discipline evaporates. One moment of stress, and their clarity dissolves into chaos. Modern life hasn't made us weaker, it has simply exposed how untrained our emotional world has become. The Stoics knew this danger well. They saw that the greatest enemy is not external hardship, but the inner storms we allow to rage without resistance. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Those words aren't a cliché, they are the blueprint for emotional sovereignty. Think about it. Life will always deliver unpredictability. People will always disappoint you. Plans will always break. And emotions will always appear, whether you want them to or not. But emotions are not commands. They are merely signals, messengers, data points. They are not the master you are. Yet most people hand their emotional life over to strangers, circumstances, or childhood patterns they never questioned. The result is a life spent drifting from reaction to reaction, never choosing, only responding. The Stoic path is different. It begins with one simple, powerful skill: the pause. The moment your anger rises, pause. The second your anxiety spikes, pause. The instant your mind wants to explode, defend, escape, or lash out, pause. That pause is where your power lives. It is the moment you reclaim command from the primitive parts of your mind. In that small window, you separate yourself from the emotion, and the emotion loses its ability to control you. Imagine your mind as a ship in rough water. Without training, you're tossed endlessly by the waves of irritation, fear, jealousy, frustration, envy. But with discipline, you become the captain. You feel the waves, but you are not consumed by them. This is emotional mastery. Not suppressing, not pretending, not acting emotionless, but choosing your response instead of being owned by your impulses. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote privately, reminding himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." He wasn't ignoring his emotions, he was commanding them. He understood that when you lose control of your reactions, you lose control of your life. And the truth is harsh but liberating. People do not fail because life is unfair. They fail because their emotions sabotage them before life even tries. So today, practice the three-step ritual. Pause, breathe, question. Pause before reacting. Breathe before speaking. Question before assuming. Stoic principle #3. There is a quiet belief almost everyone carries, even if they never say it out loud. I've done everything right, so life should reward me. But life isn't a contract. It doesn't pay you back for your goodness, your effort, or your intentions. And the sooner you accept that, the freer you become. Most suffering today doesn't come from what happens. It comes from the belief that what happens shouldn't have happened. You study hard and still fail. You love deeply and still get abandoned. You work tirelessly and still lose the opportunity. And immediately the mind screams, "That's not fair." But fairness is a human invention. Nature doesn't operate on it. And the Stoics understood this with brutal clarity. They taught, expecting life to be fair is the fastest route to bitterness. Accepting that life is unpredictable is the fastest route to strength. We live in a culture obsessed with equality of outcome. People want guarantees. They want emotional insurance. They want the universe to behave like a vending machine. Insert effort, receive reward. But the universe is not a vendor. It is a battlefield, one where you do not control the terrain, only your stance. Marcus Aurelius ruled through plague, war, betrayal, famine, and political chaos. If anyone had the right to complain about fairness, it was him. Yet he wrote simply, "You can commit injustice by doing nothing." His attention was on his own behavior, not on whether the world treated him fairly. Because here's the truth. When you expect fairness, you become fragile. Every setback feels like a personal attack. Every failure feels like fate targeting you. Every disappointment becomes proof that the world owes you something. But the Stoic does not negotiate with reality. He faces it. He adapts to it. He uses difficulty as a training partner, not a punishment. Think of a warrior who enters battle expecting the enemy to be polite. He will be destroyed. But the warrior who expects chaos is never surprised, only prepared. You will be betrayed. You will be misjudged. You will lose things you care about, not because you deserved it, but because that is the nature of existence. And here is the paradox. When you stop expecting fairness, life begins to feel less unfair. Because the moments that used to break you now teach you. This is the shift from victim to warrior. Stoic principle #4. Focus only on what you can control. There are two battles happening in your life. The one the world throws at you, and the one you create in your own mind. Most people lose the second battle long before the first one even begins. Why? because they spend their energy trying to control what was never theirs. They try to control what people think. They try to control how others behave. They try to control outcomes, timing, luck, perception, the past, the future. And when reality refuses to obey their expectations, they break. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. Most of your suffering is self-created because you keep fighting battles that are not yours. Epictetus, born into slavery, became one of the most influential philosophers in history because he mastered one rule: most people ignore their entire lives. He said, "Some things are up to us and some are not." With that one line, he mapped the entire structure of human freedom. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. It is the idea that all of life can be divided into only two categories. 1. What you control: your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your effort, your values, your response. 2. What you don't control: other people, results, timing, external events, opinions, accidents, the past, the future. And the moment you confuse these two categories, you suffer. Think about how much time you've wasted worrying about what someone might say, or rehearsing a scenario you'll never face, or trying to be liked by people who barely know themselves, or waiting for circumstances to align before you take action. This is not control, it is emotional imprisonment. Marcus Aurelius led an empire surrounded by unpredictable enemies, plagues, politics, and chaos. But he remained calm because he understood the game. You cannot control the world, but you can always control your mind. And when you control your mind, the world loses its power over you. Most people feel overwhelmed not because life is too hard, but because they are trying to control the wind instead of setting their sails. They are exhausted from wrestling shadows instead of mastering themselves. Freedom begins the moment you ask, "Is this within my control?" If the answer is no, let it go. Not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Your energy is sacred. Aim it only at what you can truly influence. Action. Draw 2 circles today, one for what you control, one for what you don't. Revisit it every time anxiety rises. Affirmation: I control my actions, not the world, and that is enough. Stoic principle, #5. Practice voluntary hardship. Modern life has given us more comfort than any generation before us, but it has also made us mentally weaker than ever. We have warm rooms, soft beds, endless entertainment, fast food, fast answers, and fast distractions. We can avoid discomfort at every turn, and that is exactly why discomfort now destroys us. A single challenge can break someone who has never trained for challenge. A small loss cripples someone who has never practiced losing. A minor inconvenience overwhelms someone who has never carried weight. The Stoics understood this long before our world drowned itself in convenience. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a number of days to live with the bare minimum and ask yourself, is this what I feared?" He wasn't encouraging misery, he was teaching freedom. This practice is called voluntary hardship, and it is one of the most powerful psychological techniques ever recorded. It is the art of choosing discomfort so that discomfort can no longer choose you. Why does this work? Because the mind grows only when it is stretched, because fear shrinks when you face it willingly, because suffering becomes manageable when it is practiced under your control. We fear cold because we never enter it. We fear hunger because we never experience it. We fear solitude because we constantly escape ourselves. We fear challenge because our life is engineered to avoid it. Voluntary hardship reverses this decay. It reconditions your nervous system to see discomfort not as danger but as data. It rebuilds the ancient resilience your ancestors relied on to survive. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire in the world, but he lived with restraint, simple food, simple clothing, simple habits. Not because he lacked comfort, but because he refused to be ruled by it. Comfort feels good, but it slowly erodes your self-command. Discomfort feels challenging, but it strengthens the spirit. Imagine this: if you have never chosen to suffer on purpose, how will you survive the suffering life throws at you without warning? If you've never trained your mind under pressure, how will it behave when real pressure arrives? Voluntary hardship is not masochism, it is preparation, it is mental weightlifting, it is rehearsing loss so that loss cannot terrify you. It is practicing resilience so that resilience becomes your default nature. So choose something small this week. Wake earlier than you want. Take the cold shower. Skip the comfort food. Walk instead of drive. Do the inconvenient thing. Face the truth you've avoided. Each small discipline shifts your identity from someone who avoids discomfort to someone who commands it. Stoic principle, #6, detach from outcomes, love the process. We live in a results-obsessed world. Everything is measured: likes, followers, money, speed, progress, and performance. People don't exercise to become strong, they exercise to look strong. They don't learn to grow, they learn to be seen as knowledgeable. They don't create for the joy of creation, they create for applause. And in that obsession with outcomes, something essential is lost: the ability to stay present. People stop living and start performing. They stop growing and start comparing. They stop trying and start expecting. But the Stoics warned us centuries ago: when your peace depends on results, you will never have peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you must, with the same weapons of reason you possess today." In other words, focus on what you can do now, not on what you want to happen later. Every time you attach your worth to an outcome, you give the world power over your emotions. You hand over your peace to something you cannot control. And when that outcome doesn't appear on your schedule, you feel defeated, not because you failed, but because you expected. This is the emotional trap of results, and it is why so many people quit the moment progress slows. They work out for 2 weeks and quit because they don't see results. They pursue a dream and quit because it isn't growing fast enough. They open their heart and quit because others do not reciprocate. But quitting wasn't caused by the work, it was caused by attachment. Stoicism teaches something radically different: detach from outcomes and fall in love with the process. Not because outcomes don't matter, but because outcomes are not yours to control. Your effort is yours. Your discipline is yours. Your character is yours. Your consistency, your attitude, your integrity, these belong to you. Results do not. Ironically, when you detach from results, something extraordinary happens. Your performance improves. Your anxiety drops. Your focus sharpens. You stop rushing. You stop comparing. You stop forcing. You begin to create from clarity instead of fear. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." He wasn't talking about apathy, he was describing mastery. True contentment comes not from outcomes, but from aligning your actions with your values. So today, choose one goal and detach from the scoreboard. Instead, ask, what is the smallest action I can perform well today? Then do it with full presence, as if it were sacred, because it is. Stoic principle #7. Remember death, live urgently. Most people live as if life is endless. They delay their dreams, postpone hard conversations, and drift through days as if they have an infinite supply of them. But time is not generous. It is not patient. It is not waiting for you to feel ready. The Stoics used a phrase that most modern minds find uncomfortable: memento mori. Remember, you will die. At first, it sounds morbid. But in reality, it is the most powerful strategy for living fully. Because when you remember that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on what doesn't matter. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." He wasn't warning us about death, he was warning us about distraction. Look at how easily time dissolves in the modern world. Hours lost scrolling, days lost worrying, months lost waiting for the right moment, years lost pretending you have years to spare. We postpone life because we assume it will always be there. But every sunrise you experience is one fewer sunrise you have left. Every conversation could be the last with someone you love. Every opportunity you delay might be the one that never returns. The Stoics didn't meditate on death to be grim, they did it to be awake. When you remember that you will die, you stop sleepwalking through your life. You stop arguing over trivial things. You stop chasing validation. You stop postponing forgiveness. You stop clinging to fears that won't matter in the end. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is not a threat, it is a compass." It points you back to what truly matters: courage, presence, creation, love, integrity. If you knew today was your final day, what would instantly become unimportant? The opinions of strangers? Your insecurities? Your excuses? Your fear of failure? And what would suddenly matter more than anything? The people you care about, the work that fulfills you, the truths you've been avoiding, the dreams you keep postponing. Memento mori is not about fearing death, it is about refusing to waste life. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself 2 questions. If tomorrow never came, what would I regret not doing? And why am I waiting? Choose one of those things and act on it this week. No hesitation, no delay, no perfect moment, just presence. Stoic principle #height. Live by virtue, not validation. There is a silent addiction that destroys more lives today than any substance ever could. The addiction to being seen. People chase validation like oxygen. They want to be admired, applauded, approved, and accepted. They want their worth confirmed by strangers. They want their achievements witnessed, their kindness praised, their identity reinforced by external applause. But here's the brutal truth. When your value depends on the opinions of others, you will never feel valuable, because opinions shift, praise fades, attention drifts. And the person who builds their identity on validation is building a house on sand. The Stoics saw this weakness long before the internet magnified it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." He wasn't speaking to a crowd, he was reminding himself. He lived surrounded by flattery, politics, corruption, and public scrutiny. Yet he anchored his identity in one thing: virtue. Virtue means living in alignment with your highest principles, not your impulses, not your fears, not your desire to impress. Modern life pushes us toward performance. We post to prove, we speak to be heard. We take actions not because they're right, but because we want to be perceived as right. But the Stoic path is inward. It asks, who are you when no one is watching? Because that is who you truly are. A person addicted to validation becomes a prisoner of perception. They bend their truth to fit expectations. They silence themselves to fit in. They act carefully, not courageously. They become polite instead of honest, visible but empty. But the Stoic refuses this exchange. Integrity is his compass, virtue is his anchor, character is his wealth. He does the right thing because it is right, not because it will be noticed. Seneca wrote, "A good character, when observed, delights, but when unseen, it still rejoices." This is freedom. To act with honor, even when applause is impossible. To choose truth when lies would make life easier. To maintain integrity when shortcuts tempt you. To remain kind when kindness brings no reward. When you live by virtue, the world loses its power over you. People may misunderstand you, criticize you, or ignore you, but your inner world remains unshaken. You no longer perform, you embody. You no longer chase admiration, you chase alignment. Today, choose one value: honesty, courage, kindness, discipline, and live it quietly for 24 hours. Don't announce it, don't share it, don't perform it, just embody it. Because virtue is not about being seen, it's about becoming someone worth seeing. Action. Live one chosen value silently and consistently today. Affirmation. I act from virtue, not for applause. The unshakable mind, your new way of living. You've walked through 8 timeless Stoic principles, 8 pieces of ancient armor forged to protect the modern mind. But understanding them is not the victory. Living them is. The truth is, most people drift through life without ever questioning the chaos inside them. They react, they blame, they chase, they fear, and they crumble, never seeing that the real prison was internal all along. But you are different now. You've seen what the Stoics saw centuries ago, that life is not something to control, but something to respond to with strength. That suffering is not a punishment, but a classroom. That discomfort is not your enemy, but your training partner. That the only true power you have lies within your choices, your discipline, your character, and your state of mind. You've learned that life will never be fair, but you can always be strong. You've learned that emotions will rise, but they do not have to rule you. You've learned that the world will test you, but you can prepare long before it arrives. You've learned that time is slipping, but urgency is your anchor to meaning. You've learned that validation is fragile, but virtue is eternal. And now the question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? The Stoics did not study philosophy to sound wise. They studied it to become warriors of the mind. They practiced daily, not occasionally. They trained quietly, not performatively. They transformed themselves internally so that the external world lost its ability to break them. This is your path now. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a mind that does not shatter under pressure, a mind that does not negotiate with excuses, a mind that meets discomfort with courage, not fear, a mind that responds instead of reacts, a mind that sees death not as a threat, but as a reminder to live fiercely, a mind that stands in virtue no matter who's watching. That is the mind you are building. That is the fortress the Stoics spoke of, a fortress no storm can tear down, a fortress built not from stone but from discipline, clarity, and inner command. But remember this, transformation is not a single moment, it is a practice. You become unshakable through repetition, consistency, and daily engagement with these principles. Every moment of frustration, discomfort, or fear is not a setback. It is another rep in the mental gym. So carry these 8 principles with you, not as ideas, but as actions. Live them quietly. Live them consistently. Live them until they become reflex. And whisper this to yourself each morning. Nothing external can shake the fortress within me. Action. Choose one principle each week and live it fully. Affirmation. I am unshakable. I am disciplined. I am free. You've reached the end of this journey, but the real work begins after this video stops. Because Stoicism isn't meant to inspire you for a moment. It's meant to rebuild the architecture of your mind. You now carry 8 principles older than empires, sharper than fear, and stronger than anything this world can throw at you. But principles mean nothing without practice. Knowledge means nothing without action, and potential means nothing without discipline. So right now, choose the kind of person you will be from this moment forward. Will you return to the habits that kept you small, or will you step into the quiet strength you've just awakened? Because the world will test you, comfort will tempt you, fear will whisper your name, and chaos will try to reclaim you. But remember this, you are not who you were before you started this journey. Your mind has new weapons now, your spirit has new armor, your life has a new direction. And when the storms come, and they will, you won't run, you won't break, you won't fall into the old patterns that once ruled you. You'll stand, you'll breathe, you'll think, you'll choose. And you'll move forward with discipline, clarity, and courage. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is mastery, not of the world, but of yourself. If these teachings spoke to you, let this be your first act of self-command. Comment, "I am unshakable" below. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but as a declaration to yourself of who you are becoming. Share this with someone who needs the reminder, someone fighting their own silent battle, someone who could rise if only they had the tools. And when you wake up tomorrow, whisper this one line, a line that has carried empires, warriors, and philosophers through the darkest storms. Nothing external can shake the fortress within me. This is your path now. Walk it with honor, walk it with courage, walk it with discipline. And remember, you are stronger than you think, you are calmer than you feel, and you are more powerful than you know. Until next time, stay unshakable.